Hello, friends. Hi, friends. How are you doing? I'm so excited because here we are, another wonderful and fantastic episode with amazing and very beautiful person. But not only beautiful outside, but also beautiful inside. I'm very excited and grateful to Jen, who is the founder, the creator of CelebrityCatwalk and Paws in the City. And she invited this amazing and special guest to come back today to the show. But, I'm very excited, Jen. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. I hope you guys are good. As you come on in, folks, please hit that share button for us. It costs you nothing to share. We would love to just have you help us grow a little bit. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for being here with us. And yes, Vasi, thank you very much, as always, for making it possible. And as you mentioned, we have a very, very special guest. You know Jennifer. She, of course, has a fantastic name. Jennifer Hoeben Tolbert. She is Mrs. America. And you'll get me together, Jennifer, if I put the pronouns and the nouns in the wrong places. She is Mrs. America, representing South Carolina. You saw her hit the catwalk in May, and very excited that she will already has plans to be back on Friday. She will be judging and being a part of Friday's Paws in the City Kings and Queens contest. So she has already committed to November's Paws in the City, but she just came back, and that's one of the reasons why she's back with us tonight. She just competed nationally for the Mrs. America title, and she is here to give us all the scoop. She's going to spill the tea on how that experience was. She was at the big show. She did wonderfully, and we're really, really proud and excited to have her. She's going to break down these different looks for us, which is very exciting. And thank you, Jennifer, for making time for us tonight to give us the scoop.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you, always.
I'm excited. Last time I was with you guys, I was Mrs. Greenville, and then competed for Mrs. South Carolina. So that's my title, is Mrs. South Carolina America. And then from there, I had a few months to get ready to go to Vegas for Mrs. America. So I came back from that, and that's just been a couple weeks now. So really just kind of trying to settle back into regular life and regular schedule and things like that.
Thank you. So first of all, how you gotta tell us, how was it competing nationally on that national stage?
It was awesome. The hotel that we were at was the Westgate Resort in Las Vegas. It's kind of towards the end of the strip. So, if you've never been there or heard of it before, it was a beautiful hotel. We all had roommates. We stayed with our sister queens. So I stayed with, my roommate was Mrs. North Carolina. And I have to say, I feel like she was the best roommate, but we just got along so well. But the Westgate Resort was awesome in giving us, our food and everything from Mrs. America and from the Westgate for 9 to 10 days we were there. So it was a really long time. But within that, the auditorium in there, and that hotel hosts the Elvis suite. So they actually had the suite when Elvis was performing that he stayed in. So we actually got to see that suite when we were there, and the auditorium that we were in, the stage that we were on, is where he performed when he did his shows in Vegas. So it was really neat, really special to be able to be there, and just, it's always, and it just may not be every little girl's dream, but, for some of us whose dream it was to be in Miss America, to be able to do it and be in Mrs. America when you're married and you're older, and you have accomplished a few more things. It was really neat. So it was a great experience. Like I said, we were there over a week. So it was 9 to 10 days because we got there a day early. And me and my sister queens. So there was 5 other ones of us. So we have our Miss contestants for North and South Carolina. and then we had our American contestants, and then we had our America queens. So we all were roommates, you know, with our North Carolina and South Carolina counterparts. So that's kind of how that works. So there were 6 of us total that went. We flew out there together on the plane, and you know, we were with each other every single day, doing everything together, and it was just so much fun. You know, had to pack all the dresses and pack all that stuff, which y'all can ask me whatever questions you want to ask, but there's so much literally to unpack.
How much? Okay, yes. So obviously, I think when most people travel, and I'm sure this is you and Vasi and everyone, when most people travel as women, we like to provide options. Like, you never know if you're going to be in the mood to wear sandals or flats, or am I going to feel like wearing green or wearing blue? Am I going to feel like if it's too cold, I'm going to bring a shawl? So please talk a little bit about, because I'm guessing your dresses and what you're wearing, is there a plan B or there is no plan B? This is what I'm wearing, is what I'm
we spend quite a bit of money on our dresses that we wear for certain events throughout the week. So they kind of tell you, there's no definite set schedule, and things are always changing and evolving based on, you know, what's happening throughout the day and what we have coming up. But there was rehearsals every day, so we had to have an outfit for that, of course. And then there were events at night. So based on whatever event was that day, and then you have that outfit for that night, such as the Elvis suite. So you wanted to have a nice gown for the Elvis suite. So once you purchase that gown, that's kind of the gown, unless something happens to it, you know, because things aren't cheap. But so you had that, and then, you know, you had your sister queens pageants. So the Miss pageant we had to go to and cheer for them, and wear something to the preliminary that day, and then wear a different gown that night to the finals. And then for the American pageant, we would wear something that day in addition to whatever we wore to rehearsal. So you're looking at about 3 outfits a day at least. And, you know, and a lot of those, like I said, being full gowns, beaded gowns, things like that. So they taught us how to roll our dresses, and it's really kind of neat. You just fold them in, and we had packing paper and rolled them up like that, tiny. And it sounds scary, but they actually got there I only had, I had 2 large suitcases and 1 carry-on, but that included my competition wear as well. So that included my competition gown, my costume, my state costume that you saw, which we can talk about that and what that was and how that came to be. So my state costume was rolled up in there, all of my shoes, makeup, you know, in which we had hair and makeup artists when we got there, that we paid for ourselves individually, but you'd want to take yours just in case, you know, you never know what's going to happen.
Wow.
So just all of that stuff. My roommate and I did make an Amazon wish list, and we actually had a lot of things shipped to the hotel from Amazon, including a foot massager, things to hang over the doors to help, you know, stay organized. Because the rooms, if you think about 2 women in a hotel room with about 6 or 7, I think she had one more suitcase than I did. So 7 suitcases and all of the dresses. So we actually had a hanging rack shipped that we hung all of our dresses on, in addition, because, you know, the closets are so tiny there, so they would not hold even one of our things. So we had to put that together right when we got there. You know, food, snacks, and things in case we didn't want to eat whatever was given to us. You know, just a lot.
It is a tremendous amount. That's really incredible. I know we're on a time crunch tonight, so yes, let's please talk about your wardrobe for that you wore, because we do have pictures of those. Vasi worked her magic.
So yeah, so on the right, well, on my right anyways, you'll see my interview look. So it's the white with the taupe bottom. So that was a custom designed piece. I came up with the design myself, and then got with Canary Designs, which is owned by Tiffany Haney Linder. And she's local around here. She's in Spartanburg, but she is a very well-known local designer. And she makes everything from gowns to costumes to interview dresses, and sells clothes as well. But she helped me in the design of that interview dress. And then Fernando Wong actually created the piece, and he's out of Miami.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing. It's just, I want to say that it's so interesting, you know, the pet world of fashion and the beauty queens, you know, with 2 legs of fashion is just kind of fascinating.
Yeah,
but
you come up with the
beautiful.
designs and create them. And the same thing, you know, when I was with you guys last time at the show, all of the pieces that I saw, I was blown away by all of the things that they had created and all of these designers had made for the dogs. So yeah, same type of thing. It just comes from, you know, a spark of creativity, an idea, something you see on the internet. I had seen, you know, that top in a different dress, different color, and I kind of just took that idea and went with it. And then I, you know, decided to do a different color bottom and everything like that. And then add a belt and just, you know,
to make it kind of your own. And do you, when you get your outfit, do you kind of practice wearing it? Kind of, do you practice the runway walk, you know,
for
turn
the
around?
gown and things like that? Yes. For my interview dress, not so much. Honestly, I didn't want to mess it up. And I was really running on a tight schedule, having a custom piece made that close to nationals. So I literally picked my gown up from, that dress up from Alterations on a Tuesday, and I flew out on Thursday.
Okay, that's
So
Wow.
that dress barely made it in the bag.
Wow.
It
Wow.
happens sometimes to us as well. So Jen, we shouldn't
Exactly.
feel so bad.
Our furry fashionistas can relate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would love for you to talk a little bit about your swimwear.
Okay.
Because I think that people think, or maybe the Hollywood producer part of me thinks that, oh, put on something that is very, I think that this is very nice and not the word, I guess, for lack of a better word, skimpy, if you will.
The turquoise one piece was our swimwear. And at our state pageant, we were allowed to wear whatever kind of swimsuit we wanted to wear. So we could wear a 1-piece, we could wear a 2-piece, whatever style we wanted, as long as it wasn't, you know, anything super scandalous or anything like that. So I wore a 2-piece at our state pageant, actually. For nationals, they give you the swimsuit. So when we arrive and we check in, we're given, you know, certain things, our opening number dress, and our costume, not our costume, our opening number dress and our swimsuit. And so they're just small, medium, large, like that. And so you get what you signed up for, and you hope it fits and it looks right and that you like it. For me, I have a really long torso. And you know, buying a swimsuit is a very difficult thing just as a female anyways. We all know you don't just go in there and you don't just pick the first one up and it doesn't fit, you know, that's not how it is. It's usually a whole bunch of them. And it's usually, you know, one of those things, that's quite drama filled, but with this, we didn't have an option. So everyone wore the same turquoise swimsuit, and it was what it was, and however it looked on you is how it was going to look. The other girls had different colors. So the American girls had a royal blue, and then the Miss contestants had a hot pink, but they were on different nights. So we got the turquoise, which I love. And the ironic thing about that is my very first swimsuit when I started competing in the Miss America system, in the Miss America organization 20 years ago, my very first swimsuit that I bought, it looks almost exactly like this turquoise one, same color. It was a 1-piece because back then I'm that old that we had to wear 1-pieces. And shortly after they changed where you could wear 2-piece, but my very first one is a turquoise one piece that looks almost exactly like that.
Wow, Destiny, look at this.
So I was really having like
all the way around.
very surreal, you know, moments full circle.
Wow.
Now, so, and I don't know if you can speak to this, but so your competition days are not over. Is that correct? Can you speak a little bit to, can you give us a little of anything?
So as far as being Mrs. South Carolina, I will continue to serve and volunteer and do things as Mrs. South Carolina until May. So our pageant has been set for May 5th and 6th that weekend. So Cinco de Mayo weekend is our pageant. So I will be Mrs. South Carolina until then, until I crown somebody else. After that, I have made the decision to retire.
Oh.
So yes, I am retired. I really gave it my all and did everything I could. And I put my best foot forward. And I feel like I did everything that I wanted to do. And that's what I wanted to do, was just go and have no regrets. And I went full force with everything. And I really just try to put myself out there and, you know, do the very best that I could for myself. You know, not really knowing what the outcome would be and what they were looking for necessarily. It's always that way, you know, with this kind of stuff, you never really know. But the biggest takeaway and what I knew would be the best experience and the best part of it, and it sounds so cliche, but it was the women that I met through it. And my sister queens, like the 5 of them, our relationship is so awesome. We talk every day, whether it's about something serious or funny or silly things, but we talk every day and literally have grown to love them. And some of the women that I met during the pageant have become great friends, and I will forever support them because they're all supporting wonderful causes too. You know, you focus so much on your own cause and what you're promoting, that sometimes you forget that there's so many other things that, you know, are so important and so valuable to other people. Just last night, one of the girls in our group posted her suicide story and her testimony about that, and asked us all to share about it and asked us all to watch the video that she had created about it. And it was so powerful and so touching. And, you know, you would never know that she ever went through that. If you met her, she's the funniest. I mean, the best personality, just an amazing person all the way around. And to know some of the backstory of some of the women that had been sexually abused, and, you know, just had gone through so many different things, to have us all together in one spot and to be going through the same thing together really brings you together. You know, when you're there for 10 days, at first you meet everyone and you're like, oh, okay, you know, you're trying to feel everybody out and see what's going on. But once you get to know some people, and we were really lumped together in regions. So I was in the South region. And so, you know, I was with Florida and Alabama and stuff like that, and Tennessee. And some of those women have just become such great inspirations to me, motivation to me, and friends and people that I can see myself being friends with for a very long time.
That's really amazing. That's really, really wonderful.
I think that's, I mean, above all, of course, everyone wants to go and win. Everyone wants to, you know, come out on the other side being the winner. But I think it's also important to remember what you can win outside of just the crown is so much more than that, because you gain these valuable friendships, you gain these valuable experiences, you know, that I'll never get to do that again, you know, and some people will never get to do it in their lifetime, you know, right. They will not have this opportunity. And I wish that they could. And it's hard to explain, it's hard to describe unless you've been there and you've done it. But it is just very special. And it's just something that I'm really proud of and that I'm really glad that I chose to do.
Wow, it's amazing. It is. And what I really want to emphasize and to encourage whoever is watching and listening is that it doesn't matter your age. You know, it doesn't matter 1 or 2 kids later, 2 legs, you know, they can be the 4 legs kids as well. The most important is you decided, you gave everything possible. And it doesn't matter that you won, which congratulations, we are very proud, you know, or maybe if you didn't, you got this friendship. And also it's very incredible the fact that the platform you support, you know, the difference you are making. And actually I want to show, because I hope that people are going to, you know, to listen to our first episode when, you know, you came and you know, you actually, we did 2 interviews. That's actually, I think, our 3rd one now, but you know, Love Progress Park. So can you tell people a little more about what is the platform and just share with them?
Yeah, so Love Progress Park, as you can see right there, is a youth leadership mentoring program for young girls. So we have an MBA style leadership program where girls come and learn how to really cultivate their own selves into being the leader that they want to be and that they can be. This is a camp program that's twice every summer for these young girls. And something about that has changed since we last talked is that since we last spoke, was that I started the See Her Win scholarship. So yeah, so I am raising money and funding 2 scholarships for girls to go to these summer camps every year.
Amazing.
And it was something that I, you know, throughout my volunteering process with them, and then the last one they had, I actually spoke and was a presenter for them. But throughout the process of that, I was able to see how beneficial it was for the girls, which you know that, but until you actually see it, it touches your heart and you want to do more. And I thought, how can I do more? The program is not inexpensive and it's not overly expensive for them to attend, and you can find the information online. But it's about $500 for them to attend, and not everyone can afford that. That's an expensive, you know, thing for anybody to go to. Worthwhile, yes, but is it something that everyone can afford? No. And some of these girls are nominated by their school to go. And some of them get, you know, things donated to be able to go. And then some people just pay for it out of pocket, you know, knowing that it's going to impact them and be a great experience for their child. And seeing that and knowing that some people could not make it happen for their kids, or that there was more schools or there was more kids who needed to be accepted into this program, I just decided that I wanted to help and I wanted to do more. So we're going to fund that. And so my hope is to continue to grow that even after, you know, when I'm not Mrs. South Carolina. I want to continue to grow that. I want to continue to be a part of it. And hopefully everyone will go like their page and learn more about it and share it. Because like we said last time, everyone knows a young girl that can benefit from something like this. Leadership is not something, you know, that is not needed. We need our young girls, any of our youth, to become courageous leaders and give them the hope that they need for that. But, you know, really being able to get them involved with something like this. And you'll see on some of these pages, you know, they're learning, these are confidence camps. Like it says, they're learning emotional intelligence, and all the while learning about fitness and taking care of themselves as well. That's where Will Greer from the Dallas Cowboys comes in. He was there at the camp this past summer, outside doing some fitness and football drills with the girls and just, you know, teaching them about what it's like to be, you know, in his shoes and to do some of the things that he does as an NFL football player. So he is a big part of this program, and he was the one that actually recruited me to join. So it's a very cool story, and it's kind of just a neat way that everything came together for me being involved with the program.
Absolutely amazing and incredible. And we will make sure that we link, friends, the platform so you can check it out. Definitely, you know, please, I'm a true believer. Each of us, we can help. As Jen, you know, we just want to say before we start recording a live streaming, I'm like, okay, I will go, you know, our Jen, you know, Jen instead of Jennifer. And then, you know, special guest in South Carolina will be Jennifer. By the way, very special hi to our friends. We have a friend of mine who is watching us from Canada right now. So it's really this, you know, it's so beautiful to have friends from all around the world. And I cannot thank you enough, Jennifer, for being with us today on the show. Jane, do you have any last questions? And then if
I was going to explain to you guys real quick, if you have a minute, to explain my state costume. I know that's probably one of the questions.
Yes.
And we didn't get to talk about that. So if you want to know about that, I'm here for that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my state costume, I wanted to kind of be creative and think outside the box, for South Carolina. And our state gemstone is the amethyst. So it came to me, I was like, ooh, purple, I love that. I think that will look good. I could do a lot of things with that. So my costume was the amethyst. So you'll see that I'm wearing, it's kind of a leotard, but truth be known, it is a swimsuit off of Amazon. And then I sent it to a wonderful friend in Utah. I shipped it to her, and her name is Cassandra, and Cassandra Lewis from Miss Lou. And she decorates a lot of different costumes and things for, just so it happens, for professional cheerleaders and some for Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders that are trying out and auditioning and things like that. So I knew she would be an awesome person to help me with the design of this. So we kind of talked about the design that we wanted as far as the rhinestones, and it's hard to see on this photo because it is so far away. But the whole thing had 3D bursts of gemstones on the one shoulder and on the hip. And they're literally sticking out from the outfit, and just the whole thing was fully stone, and it was beautiful. So on stage it looked great. And then I had a ton of tulle, like really long tulle for the skirt coming out of the back in different layers of colors to kind of represent the different layers and of the gemstone of the amethyst. So like dark purple, light purple, and white. And then you'll see the scepter that I have over there. That is actually made of some PVC pipe that I had to be able to take apart into 2 pieces to pack in my suitcase. And my daughter actually helped me wrap that with rhinestones. I had a rhinestone, almost like a paper, that I wrapped around and then tied onto it with like fishing wire. And then was able to put that together when I got there. I brought the tulle with me. I had to make those bows when I got there as well. And then the top of the amethyst is actually made from acrylic pieces that were welded together by a friend of mine named Ryan McKay. He's great with his hands and does all kind of crafty work and things. And so I was like, please help me, because I tried to make it myself and it did not turn out well. So he said, what about if we do this? And honestly, the scepter was something that came together in the hotel room last minute. I didn't even know if I was going to use it. And we put it together, or I put it together, and I threw the bow on it. And I was like, I think it looks good. So the scepter was just kind of like a regal and royal, the purple was just, and the amethyst stone and everything. I just wanted to have that regal royal vibe. So a giant scepter just seemed like really appropriate to me.
Wow, it's amazing. It's so beautiful. And by the way, we have another friend of ours from Australia, and she's
nice.
like, wow, what a fantastic costume. So everyone love your clothing, and I thank you, because it's like amazing to see behind the scenes. Like you see a beautiful woman on the runway, winning this incredible title, which you deserve absolutely. And then just knowing kind of behind the scenes, some of the, the things. And
there's a lot that went into it because there was such a short amount of time to get ready. So if you can imagine, me going to Hobby Lobby and Amazon and ordering all these things online and having them shipped to me, and my shoes also that I wore in that amethyst costume, my shoes were.
Yes, I saw the video. I think you did a video, Jennifer.
Yes. So those shoes were off of Amazon as well. They're purple shoes. And then my best friend, Gabby, and I sat and decorated those shoes by hand. And they're hard to see, like you can't see them on there, but they were fully rhinestoned as well, with different size and and colored rhinestones between the AB stones and purple. So we did all that by hand too, and that was fun, kind of little girly time together that we were able to spend. But between doing stuff like that and getting all that made and fixed, and her mom helped with some of the sewing of the extra layers on the back of the costume. And then, you know, having your gown and then having the other piece made and getting alterations done and making sure you have all of your outfits for everything to wear, you know, the other gowns for every day when you're there and the other things and packing and, you know, just all of that. Whew, it was a lot.
Yeah, we can imagine that it was a lot. Absolutely. It's
but so fun. And I mean, looking back on it, it's just like, I can't believe I did that, but like I did that. And, you know, like you were saying, you know, I thought going into it that I was on the older end of things. There were women there that were just as old as me, if not older. And that were just absolutely killing it and having the best time and living their best lives. And it really does go to show you that you can do, you know, really anything you want to do. And that sounds cliche. You can, you know, if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to put in the time and the effort, you can do, you know, these things. You can do it. And I brought my crown from South Carolina to show you guys too. So I didn't have it on. It is quite heavy. It's very heavy, but it's, you know, it does look very fancy and nice on.
wow, that's amazing. It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
Not
thank
just your
you.
earrings and just amazing. I love it.
Thank you so much. So I wanted to share that with you guys too. And then, you know, our fancy rhinestone banners and everything. So, you know, I guess this goes to say, if anyone wants to become a part or a candidate for Mrs. South Carolina, they can also reach out to me. And I can have some information emailed to them. And we have our great state directors, that's Fred and Wendy Galley. And so any information, you know, I can get from them, anything anyone needs to know. You can also ask me anything, but, you know, if you don't try, you'll never know, I guess is the biggest thing. And that was for me, I just had these goals I wanted to accomplish. And I was like, well, if I do this, it'll push me to accomplish even more. And it really has. So it's been an awesome experience.
You crushed it. You crushed it.
Yes.
And you're going to continue consulting, correct, Jennifer? You're gonna,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do that on the side. And so girls they come to my house and I help them with interview, modeling, anything that they're working on.
That's amazing. So friends, if you live in Carolina, South Carolina, you know, now you have an incredible mentor, a coach, because I am a true believer that learning from a person with experience like you definitely is the right way to achieve your dreams. But I really,
yes, thank you.
No, we thank you for being with us on the show, because we know that you were away for a little while, so now you're back, but it takes time, especially after you know, like such a busy schedule and so many, because people, they don't understand, it's a lot of not only physical, it's mental. And so
exactly,
you're exhausted, you come home and like your family wants you, everyone wants you. But
well, and not only that, when I came home, unfortunately, most of the Mrs. America class, at least half of us, came back with COVID.
Oh no.
So we were sick for a while. I know. So that was unfortunate because I was really ready to come home and see my family and be with everyone, and I had to stay in the bed for a while. And I didn't feel like getting out of the bed either. So that was unfortunate. Everything was pretty much mild for me, so I was lucky. And for most of the other girls as well. But, you know, I knew it was an option of something that could happen, but that was unfortunate because I was ready to come back and hit the ground running. And I'm one of those people, when I get home, I want to unpack immediately and from any trip. Right. I like to just get it done, start doing the laundry, start doing anything. You know, we got home from Labor Day trip at my parents' house yesterday. And I mean, I had everything unpacked and started doing laundry, and I couldn't do that. And I couldn't, you know, be with my kids and everything. So that was a little bit sad, but we made it through, and I'm back to my normal self, and I'm back to doing my workouts and doing all of my normal life things. So it's all good.
Good. Amazing. We cannot thank you enough for being with us today. And then can you tell people like where they can find you, and also if Jen has any questions?
this. Yes.
Yes, on Instagram, my Instagram handle for my personal page is jennifer.tolbert, and my my pageant page is Mrs. South Carolina America.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jen. Do
Yeah.
you have any questions?
No, that's it. I definitely want Jennifer to come back because I think there's so many different topics that we can go into. So thank you, Jennifer, as always, for making time for us. This was wonderful to get the behind the scenes of the world, which so many of our furry fashionistas can relate to as well.
I know.
Thank you very much, and I will be seeing you in person soon.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I will see you guys, and whoever else, that's watching shows up in November. Be happy to take some pictures, and I'll bring my autograph cards and all of my stuff to that event. And my fellow Mrs. South Carolina American, Christy Clark, she'll be there with me as well. So we'll have a good time. So hopefully everyone comes out to see us, and I can't wait to be a judge. I can't believe I have to judge these little guys in their cute little outfits. So I get to be on the other side of it, but I'm excited. So
we are excited too. It's going to be fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
You're welcome. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Bye.